Good evening. My name is Suzanne Ryan. I'm chairman of the Zoning Board of Adjustments. It's Monday, July 7th, 2025. On the agenda, we have minutes and 2 cases. I'll open the meeting at 6:04. And voting members that are present, Audrey Klein, Vice Chair, voting member, Kate McMahon, voting member, Chuck Sumner, voting member, myself, I'm a voting member. Jody Persons is a voting member, but he's excused, and in his place, I'll appoint Sabette Stroman as a voting member tonight on the cases that we're going to hear, or the business we have before us. Okay, so has anyone had a chance to go through any of the minutes?
Yes.
I think I'd like to put them after our cases tonight. I've got 2 sets that I think we could adopt as printed, but it's a hot night. I just soon take care of the audience first and then move on to the minutes. So we had on the agenda, the first item was Atwood on Elm LLC, tax map 20408, 14 Elm Street, case 11V25, hearing for 3 variances. I had been contacted by the attorney for Miss Webster, and in that conversation, he told me that the attorney in the firm that was handling the case was called away on emergency, and that he now was assigned. He was not up to speed. He had just gotten the material, and in that conversation, I learned that he did not get the material from the abutters, that big packet that we all got.
I'm sorry, who's Ms. Webster?
What?
Who is Ms. Webster?
Isn't that her name? Atwell on Elm? Isn't that who she is? Carrie Webster?
I don't know. That's why I'm asking.
Well,
okay.
It's in the paperwork.
Well, I don't have that right in front of me.
I've not seen that name. I've seen for Atwell, the last name starts with a guy.
No. All right, let's just call it Atwell on Elm, all right? But I believe I used the proper name. At any rate, her attorney's firm has now assigned another attorney due to the fact of medical reason. And he had not received the packet that we got from the abutters FETA that we just got like the day before the holiday, and he was not up to speed. He was making an effort to talk to his client, and he got back to me and said that it was the best interest of everybody to have a continuation, and we discussed briefly when that might be, when would it work for him, and I said, I don't know, our next regular meeting is the first Monday in August. He said, that works for me. I said, that's fine by me. So I'm opening the hearing for the purposes of continuance.
Can we have a discussion
wait a minute, Audrey,
first?
please, wait a minute. If you want to have a discussion on the date, we can do that now. I had to open the hearing
No,
first.
I want to have a discussion about opening the hearing.
I'm opening the hearing for the purposes of continuance.
I want to have a discussion about opening the hearing.
Go ahead.
Okay. Due to the request for a continuance from the Atwell application, due to the fact that we haven't had an opportunity to talk to our attorney, and also due to the fact that the abutters attorney has already stated that because this hearing, on the first page of their letter, the July 7th, 2025 hearing was not noticed as an administrative appeal, and for appellate preservation purposes, they want to make that note. So they clearly don't think this was noticed correctly. So instead of opening it, I'd like to postpone it and then reschedule and renotice when we all get our stuff together and decide what we're doing.
There's no such thing as postponing.
Well, then I would just like to not open it, and I'd like to reschedule it when we all have an opportunity to cover our bases.
I got an email from Atwell's attorney, Austin, I can't say his last name, it's kind of Mick Lodius. This just came in. Good afternoon, Shauna. Thank you again for your call. As discussed, this email serves as our formal request to continue this evening's hearing to 7/7/25 as it pertains to the Atwell variance application.
Okay, thanks. So that's one desire for a continuance. The abutter has an issue with the noticing, and we haven't talked to our attorney. So
Audrey, that's all been taken care of administratively. The office has notified the abutters' attorneys, and our attorney, and their attorney has requested it. It's all administratively been taken care of, and everyone's in agreement with the 7th, but I got the feeling...
I don't have a problem with the date. I have a problem with opening the hearing and continuing it, or simply renoticing when we have the correct... everybody's on the same page, and then going ahead on August 7th. Like I said, the abutters attorney has already said that they're going to appeal because this was not noticed as an administrative decision. Appeal. It is a rehearing, right? I mean, we're supposed to be...
It's a new hearing.
It's a rehearing, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So... due to the fact that I think all three
They've
parties...
already been noticed. Everybody's been noticed for this new hearing for tonight. That notice has been in the paper and it's been out circulated.
Well, we don't have to open the hearing. We can reschedule it for another date.
We can save the costs from having to advertise and remail out.
Suzanne.
Everybody's aware of it. It's
Well,
not like
I see a
people
lot of
aren't aware
issues,
of
and
it.
I would like to speak with our attorney. I would like to understand what the statement means.
We're going to speak, I've got a date set for our attorney, and we're going to speak to him. He's also sent a reply that I sent out.
Why is it so important that we open the hearing and continue rather than just renotice and then do this on the 7th?
We don't have to do that, Audrey. We open the hearing and continue it to a time, date, and place certain. And that takes care of it, and it will be taken administratively down at the office. It doesn't take care of it for me because I haven't spoken to our attorney. It does not take care of it for me. I'm sorry, I'm not going to do that.
I'll say, well, okay, I'm going to propose that we postpone this and reschedule it for August 7th and not open the hearing and then repost and reschedule and re-advertise based on the fact that all three parties are not on the same page.
There's no such thing in the statute that says for a postponement.
Sure there is.
No, there isn't. Find it.
I think Chuck and I need clarification. Chuck, you want to go first, or you want to state something?
Clarification. What I want to say is if we continue it, we're continuing it as the same hearing, whereas the Atwell attorney has said that's incorrect.
Atwell attorney what?
Has said something different. They say it was incorrectly noticed.
But that isn't what he's saying now. He's just saying he wants to continue the hearing that was scheduled for tonight. I just read it.
Yes.
But the abutters attorney says that this was not noticed correctly.
Formal request to continue this evening's hearing to 7/7.
That's Atwell's.
Our attorney is on, well, hold on. Our attorney is on the same page. I sent out an email. Let's see if it got out.
No, it did not.
This has been going on since 8 o'clock this morning, back and forth, back and forth.
I don't have any information.
I'm trying to keep the board up to speed.
I would like to schedule this for August 4th. We have the ability to do that. This is a rehearing, right?
Wait a minute. Wait a minute, let's see. Okay, so Sabette said something about she wanted clarification. And I sent back out, it says all sent.
I would like an opportunity to
Audrey,
have
Just
wait.
hold on,
Audrey.
Audrey. Give me a minute
conversation.
to
wait,
find
let
this
her-
email
let
and
her
I'll
look it up.
answer your question.
Give her a minute, give her a minute.
I didn't know you were going to have this issue.
Why would you?
Let's see. Let's see where his answer is. Did any of you, can you open, anybody get your email with you?
Yeah. Did he respond to all of us?
I sent a group email out.
Okay.
That's the email I did not get. I didn't get that email.
Can you look now?
I did not get the email.
But they're looking.
Just give me a minute. I do not have an email.
It says all sent. What? It says it right here.
I don't have a recent email from you, Suzanne. The last one I got was this morning about the cancellation. Let me double check another email account, just in case I'm wrong. I don't think I would be.
He says, needless to say, I've not had a chance to review he's been on vacation. And Shauna was on vacation, but they both went at different periods in the week, and they were both gone at different times, so that's one reason you didn't have your meeting. It said, needless to say, I have not had a chance to review the abutters material, so I am pleased that the hearing is getting continued. Unfortunately, I am away on vacation August 4th, but my colleague Michael Malaguni or something has graciously offered to step in and assist the ZBA. He is familiar with the case, and he and I will discuss the particulars as we get closer to the August 4th hearing. Mike has extensive experience with land use matters, and the ZBA will be in good hands. Please let me know if you have any questions. So they're in
Suzanne,
They're in the queue.
I asked weeks ago to have a back and forth meeting with our attorney.
We're going to have it.
Excuse me, not the last minute email to make a decision
We
on the
are
process.
going to have it. We didn't have it because they're on vacation. We are now scheduled to have an electronic one approximately a week before August 7th, and then if we need him at the meeting, his assistant will be here August 7th.
I do not want to open a variance case and postpone it. I want to start fresh so everybody can get the information they need, and then to schedule and renotice in the appropriate way where people aren't complaining that it wasn't done correctly. And we renotice all the time at our cost when, things are confusing. I don't know why that would be an issue this time.
It just seemed easiest way to do it. Just open it and continue it. We've done that a million times.
Well, only when we know what's going on.
Well, I have a question because I'm confused about the rehearing versus.
We're not going to talk about that.
Well, I don't know what we're even doing in August.
Jesus, I wish that email came through to you.
I mean, if we're having a rehearing, what I'm not clear about is we have a packet from May 6th.
We don't have to talk about it. If I could get this email to you, I sent him your email to me that you sent to everybody, and I had him respond. He did before this meeting, and I tried to get it out to everybody before the meeting. Your answer is in the email. I just can't seem to pull it up to give it to you. So we don't need to discuss it. It's thoroughly discussed in the attorney's email to you.
I sent an email 2 weeks ago, which was supposed to be answered prior to this meeting that we're having, and it hasn't been.
They're on vacation, Audrey.
Right, which is a good reason to postpone.
If the abutter's attorney has a problem with the process of the notification that Audrey raised, if it's already flawed, why would we open it and continue it? Why wouldn't we start fresh?
He doesn't, what makes you think he has a problem with?
It's in the information we got. As a note,
It's at the
sidebar.
bottom of the page from the abutters attorney that says, for appellate preservation purposes, blah, 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 the January 7th, 2025 hearing was not noticed as an administrative appeal. So what they're saying is, if they don't like whatever the decision is, they already have a point which they're going to appeal. Why go there?
I don't even know which hearing he's talking about. We didn't have the hearing for the
They're
variance.
talking about this hearing.
We didn't have the hearing for the variance.
She is talking about this hearing.
Can I see that? I didn't bring my Atwell paperwork with me.
Please send it back. It's at the bottom, I've underlined it. While you're looking at that, I'd like to point out something else. In our rules of procedure, we have to schedule a hearing within 30 days of the decision.
No, see, I can't find that darn email.
Can I finish?
That's not pertinent. We've got a response from our attorney because Sabet raised the same question, and he said, because we are continuing, that's a continuation, and
I don't want to continue it. That's why I'm pointing this out.
May I make a
finish?
point that this is from the attorney that hasn't been able to prepare?
Right.
So this is also, the attorney that is giving us that advice wasn't able to prepare. So I do think we should listen to Audrey's point. It is a little confusing about exactly what is going on in August and how to do it legally correctly. This is information from an attorney
well, we've
that
got
did not
information
prepare.
from our attorney, and I just can't seem to bring it up. Let me, all boxes.
Well, the issue I have is that that attorney is representing a third party, basically, in a butter. And what you're saying is you agree with that, whereas the other two attorneys don't have an issue with that. They want to proceed as it's already
This
presented.
process is this attorney's process. This is the primary
This,
party in this case. The abutter is the
abutter,
primary party.
the abutter, so that's Atwell.
Yes, no, the
I'm sorry.
abutter,
I'm sorry, yes.
yeah, the abutter is the primary person.
I found it. Let's see.
I'm not going to be able to absorb that.
On August 4, the board will take up the variance application and should be opening a public hearing so all interested parties can participate. Assuming no additional information is submitted prior to August 4th, the ZBA may be able to make a final decision that evening.
Could you read that again? Is he saying we opened the hearing? Would you mind rereading that, Suzanne?
Well, it's confidential from our attorney to us. I will now send it to you again and see if it will
Okay.
go through. I can't read it in public.
Okay.
And we can't
We
absorb
haven't even
it.
had a chance to read it. It just
Exactly.
came in.
That's one of my points. We haven't had a time to absorb anything from our attorney, never mind ask questions. All three
It's
parties.
our attorney I'm listening to.
But I haven't had a chance to talk to our attorney. And I haven't had a chance to have a back and forth with our attorney. And the attorney has not prepared
You're going to
yet.
have a chance to talk to him.
I don't want to talk an hour before our meeting.
You're going to
did
have a
say we're
chance to
gonna do
talk
it
to him approximately a week before August 7th.
If we open this hearing, we've already set a stake in the ground on what's going to happen. I don't want to do that.
No, we haven't put a stake in the ground. We're going to say that we're going to continue the application for the variances.
I
That's
don't
what it
want to
is.
continue the application for the variance. I want to start fresh and get everybody on the same page.
I agree.
I agree too. It's gotten very confusing between the rehearing and I think we should start, however it is process-wise to start fresh, I think we'd be smart to do that. We have a whole packet from the abutter that we've never discussed. And I don't think that should just be I don't know if that's part of a rehearing, but it's confusing about what the expectation and what it is we are addressing in August.
So I because I brought this up, obviously that's what I would like. In addition to that, since this is a rehearing, if we
All right.
don't open it,
Let me just keep going.
can I finish what I'm saying? We need to vote to waive this 30-day rule in our procedures for a
I'm going to
rehearing.
read what the attorney said that I had hoped that I got out. Suzanne, I would not worry about the 90-day time limit at this point. As you note, the applicant has asked for an extension. As for other dates, August 18th and 25th would work if you were looking at another Monday night.
But
That
what
doesn't
about
say
the
we have to
abutter?
open it.
But what about the abutters? I mean, the abutter came to us saying that they were asking for.
They're going to get it. They're going to get it.
But how does
That's
that-
what the hearing is on August 7th. That's what the hearing is.
Are we
So-
hearing from Atwell's point of view about a variance, or are we hearing from the abutter about the administrative decision that we made? Or are we addressing the fact that we made a decision we weren't happy with, and we were going to go back and look at that again about vesting?
All right. I'm going to make a motion. I'm going to withdraw my motion or my statement, and I'm going to table this discussion until after we hear Harriman Hill. So
Okay,
I'm tabling, I'm making a motion to table Atwell until after we take care of the business of Harriman Hill. Do I have a second?
Second.
Those in favor, roll call.
No.
Kate?
No.
Ryan, yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
But we are tabling means we're coming back tonight, correct? Yeah, okay,
Yes.
just making sure.
Okay, sorry, public, for such a display. So I am going to, next on the agenda, I am going to open the public hearing for Laconia Area Community Land Trust, doing business as Lakes Region Community Developers, tax map 176-2001, Beck Drive, case 3, SE 23, extension request of 2023, special exception approved. This is a public hearing. We had a site visit at 4:30. Mr. Secretary, would you please report on the site visit?
Yes, we had 3 ZBA members present, Suzanne, Kate, and myself. Also present was, if I get any names wrong, apologies, Megan Carrier, she's the attorney. Cara LaSalle is with her. Barney Mirko is the chairperson of the Lakes Region Trust. And additionally, we had Jay Franks, Kathleen Anthony, Mike, and Mark. There were 4 interested neighbors also in attendance. We met in the parking lot right next to the site. The site work has been started. The site has been cleared, so it was easy to see from the parking lot the entire development. The project is to consist of 30 townhouse units arranged more or less in a square. There will be an ADA unit. There will also be a community center to serve the entire development. Everything will be built very similar to what with minor changes from the project as approved 2 years ago. Respectfully submitted, Chuck Sumner, clerk.
Okay, so, thank you, Chuck. In July of 2023, the applicant had secured 2 special exceptions for Phase 3 of, I call it Harriman Hill. That's okay. And their approval is about to expire in a couple of days. So they have submitted properly, as they should, the reason or the cause for which they need an extension. And they're asking for extension from July 17th and 20th to July 31 of 2026. And because this is all public record and has had a public hearing on this with the site plan and everything, if you would just give us a brief overview of your Phase 3, what's changed, if anything, and what has not changed. Other than that, all this information will be attached to the public record. And then I will open up the public hearing for public comment. Hey, you're going to have to turn that on, or you have to make, it's voice activated, you have to speak right into the microphone. It's not on. Yeah.
Got it.
No, don't be afraid to speak right into it.
Okay.
And give your name, please.
Yes, my name is Megan Carrier. I'm an attorney from Sheehan, Finney, Bass & Green, representing the applicant for this project. Chair Ryan, you summarized essentially what our request is, the same way that I was going to summarize it. I will ask Kara LaSalle, who is the applicant's real estate development director, to summarize. There are some minor engineering changes, but for purposes of the approvals, the special exceptions that we're looking to extend, everything is the same. It's 30 units, nonprofit workforce housing, so all of that is the same, but I will invite Kara up to give you a summary of those minor changes.
Thank you.
Hi there, I'm Kara LaSalle. I'm the Real Estate Development Director at Lakes Region Community Developers. So as Megan said, we made some minor tweaks to the project.
Closer to the mic.
Closer to the mic, is that better? Yeah. So we did make some minor tweaks to the project, and a lot of that was driven based on cost. We went out to bid last summer, and the budget came in a lot higher than anticipated. So in order to sort of bridge the gap between funding sources and total development cost, we made some minor value engineering to the project. So I'll just read through this list. Some of them are minutia, some of them like parking you might care about. So we removed StormTech chamber system and replaced with an open basin right in the center of the project. That was on the approved plans. We had hoped to go to an underground system, but it was just too expensive. So we're going with the original plan. We added fence enclosure for stormwater management basin, a reduction of parking spaces to Wolfeboro minimum, that's 40 units instead of the original 59. We substituted bituminous Cape Cod berm for a vertical granite curb, except directly in front of the buildings and at certain ramp locations. Substitution of H2O concrete area drains for Nioplast basins. We removed stone drip edges around the building. We reduced some site landscaping. Generally the plan's the same, but we took some flowers out, frankly. We removed one PL pedestrian scale light that appeared to be in the extraneous location, removal of roofs on the back deck and adjusted roof drain connections. Duplex pump stations were specified to match intent. We added gas lines from tanks to the buildings, adjusted sewer and water services to match MEP and/or navigate septic tank access covers around new islands created as of removing the parking spaces. Added detectable warning panel locations on the plan view where required for clarity. We moved the bike rack installation, and we added a basketball playing area on one of the adjacent properties. Any questions on those? And unfortunately, I don't have the civil engineer here, but so I can.
Do you have to go back to the planning board for any reason?
Yeah, so we have been in contact with Shana Saunders. So she has essentially stamped the original plan set that was approved by Planning Board last year. We do have a plan set with these updated changes submitted to Shana. We're waiting to hear back from her to get an okay so that we can then go to Planning Board and get the stamp on the changes for the VE items.
So you reduced the parking and down to the minimum required. Was there a community building in this grouping? And does that still have the parking?
Yes, the community building is still part of the project, and we do still have parking along with ADA spaces right by the community building.
Chuck?
Okay, so the parking is being rearranged, but as far as access for fire and so forth, the actual roadway is as originally designed and
Yes,
approved?
it is.
Okay.
Yes, with 2 entrances to the loop.
Okay, thank you. Are there any members in the public that would like to speak for or against or in general? Please step up and speak into the microphone and state your name and let us know what's on your mind.
Good evening, Board. My name is James Collins. I'm a butter to Birch Hill Estates Road. I'm also representing the Birches of Wolfeboro Co-op. I am requesting by the president of the co-op for a continuance of this meeting for the following reasons. Not to go with the Atwell situation, notices of this meeting have not been received by a majority of our abutters due to the holidays and everything else. People are waiting for it to still be delivered because they said to the post office to do a re-delivery and it has not been delivered. The concerns of the co-op. Going back to 2008, when Ms. Damaris came up with this development, there was a lengthy yearly discussion as to what was going to be built there and relation to the property owned by the Birch Hill Co-op, which borders this property on two sides. After this notice was received today, I found out that there was a meeting July 20th, 23, and tonight it was mentioned there was another meeting in 24. There has been no quick survey of some of the residents' knowledge of these meetings. On this, because the development of this and the relationship to the property of the Birch Hill Estates, plus one side of the property is our fire road. Representing the Birch Hill Estates Board, requesting a continuance of this meeting to August, and also that since we have not received any development plans or anything else, that this information be presented to us so we can properly address it with the board.
Were these same issues brought up in 23 when this was approved?
We never got notified of it. And going through the records, there was some mention today in a file of the meetings of 2008, but there was no documentation in the file about the agreements or anything else.
Do you realize that there are 3 phases? Phase 1 completed, phase 2 is completed. This is phase 3, it's a new application.
There was only phase 1 and 2 planned at that time.
Yeah, they've been approved. And this phase 3 has been approved.
It was approved in 2023.
Correct.
Which
23.
we were never notified about it.
I have a list of the abutters from May 2023, and a whole lot of them are in Birch Hill.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But the notices were never sent to them.
Well, all as I can't speak to what went out prior. I'd have to go through the history. But I know this time there were almost 100 abutters notified.
There are 106 in the community.
Suzanne, do we know the date when it was sent out?
What?
Do we know the date of when we sent it out?
We can take a recess if it becomes an issue, and I'll go down and look in the box and bring up the notices, because we've got the receipts of when they went out.
You have the receipts. The receipts, the certifies were purchased on the 1st. The mail went out on the 2nd.
Well, they have to be sent out within prior to 5 business days. I got the receipts downstairs that will show me the exact date. I don't know if anyone counted back to eliminate 4th of July.
And everybody got them today, you're saying?
No, people are still waiting for the post office to deliver them. because they didn't even receive a notice.
I think there's
All right,
law about
can-
about holidays and weekends, and I can't quote it, but we would need to know exactly what that says.
Well, can we,
The notice is an administration type of problem. But the concern is the fact that we do not have the documentation or information as to this third phase of development and the protection of the agreed green barrier between Harmon Hill and the Burgess of
okay,
Co-op.
your complaint is understood, and could we have the attorney address this, please, for Harriman Hill?
Or Harriman Hill, yeah.
So on the continuance issue first, obviously I don't know what day the town sent out the notices. Our concern about a continuance is that these do expire on July 17th and July 20th. So if this is continued until August, that will be after these have expired, which creates an additional issue. And was there another issue that you wanted me to address as well?
Well,
Yeah, I'd like to know whether that buffer that's on the original plan has changed. Is that part of the changes?
No.
Okay, so that seems to be the one thing that I heard brought up, that they were concerned about, is the green buffer.
well,
So that hasn't changed for 2 years. It's on the plan that was approved.
So the issue here tonight is just a matter of the extension, is it not?
yes, the plans have been approved. This is just about the extension. Now, if you're saying that prior notifications weren't correct, that's water over the dam. Those phase 1 and 2 are being occupied and lived in. We're talking about phase 3. If you contend that the notices were not legally timely, I can verify that by taking a recess for 3 minutes, go downstairs and bring the information back up. As long as we did it in a legal fashion, we might not be able to remedy your concern. If we did not do it in a legal fashion, then yes, we're in a pickle. So I'd like to make a motion to take a recess for 3 or 4 minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
section are you on?
I am at 676.7.
Oh,
Okay.
that's where it is.
Notice shall be given not less than 5 days before the date fixed for the hearing of the appeal to the appellant and every abutter and holder of a conservation, preservation, or agricultural preservation restriction.
Where are you on that? What sub-number?
676.7, Roman numeral 1A.
Notice of each public hearing shall be posted, shall be posted. Each public hearing held on at least 10 calendar days before the hearing. 675.6. 675, 2 through 4. 675.
Well, it doesn't say anything about holidays or weekends.
Say again, please?
It said, it
does not?
referred to business days, though, didn't it?
No.
It doesn't.
It just says 5 days.
5 days.
It just says 5 days, not 5 business days?
That's correct.
5 days.
That's the question that we have before us. Is it business days or just days, calendar days? That's what we're trying to find the answer for.
So it's 5 days.
Well,
It says not less than 5 days before the date fixed for the hearing of
Where are
appeal.
you reading from? Yeah, what citation?
676.7A.
6 what?
76.7A.
Roman numeral 1A.
676, 7.
676.7.1A.
6, 7A, public hearing notices, yeah. Okay, let the record show, 676.7, Roman 1, parentheses B, a public notice of the hearing shall be placed in a newspaper of general circulation in the area not less than 5 days before the date fixed for the hearing of the appeal, and the public hearing shall be held within 45 days. So it's days.
Is that also what our rules of procedure say?
Say again?
Is that also what our rules of procedure say?
Good question.
I'm reading from the state statute. I'll take
But I
that.
think we also address this in our rules of
Well,
procedure.
if you got them on your computer.
I have them right here.
We should have had, whatever the state law should be in our rules of procedure.
I kind of remember we might have said business days.
Well, there's 2 different kinds of hearings.
Okay.
Not less than 5 days before the date fixed for the hearing.
So that we put it in
Same
correctly.
language.
It's 5 days. It's just 5 days, and we meet the 5 days. They went out July 1st. Now, you could say it's poor planning on our part, but there again, we were trying to meet the deadlines so that they could get their extension. All right, does anybody else want to speak for or against? Any comment from anyone? Speak now or forever hold your peace.
I have a question.
All right, now we got,
Okay.
Hello, I'm Carol McMahon. I live in Birch Hill Estates. This, as far as I know, I got my notification several days ago. But as far as I know, this phase 3 was been planned and accepted and approved, and everybody anticipated it. So I am, I guess, not in accordance with, I think they should get the extension.
Thank you for your comment. Okay, seeing no further comment, I'm going to close the public hearing for deliberations.
Can I say one thing? I'm just wondering if, can any of their concerns be brought up when they go back to the planning board?
No.
They can't, well, they can go to the planning.
Sabette, this is all approved. This has been approved 2 years ago.
Okay, I was just asking if they had an avenue when they went back
No.
to the planning board.
They don't.
I thought they said they were going back to the planning board for some changes.
They were.
Yeah.
That's why I said, can they not go back to the planning board? Can they, Birch Hill can go
Yeah.
to the planning board meeting, and that will also be noticed, and they have a chance to
Do
make a comment there.
those changes rise to the level that they have to go back?
They said so. I don't know.
didn't catch that.
Yeah.
Or they could
Okay,
appeal.
I'm going to reopen the hearing for the purposes of clarifying whether you go back to the planning board or not.
Yeah, my understanding is we need to just have the plans rubber stamped.
Speak loud.
My understanding from Shanna Saunders is that we just need to have the value engineered plans rubber stamped. My understanding was it didn't need to be a public hearing at the time.
Yeah.
Okay, I had it wrong, but.
I heard it wrong,
right.
too.
So it sounds like an administrative approval of the changes.
It was, yeah, so it's waiting for
Okay.
us to finish, and then it's just like a rubber stamp to, it's a administrative only purpose, I guess. Yeah, okay. All right, so the public hearing is now closed, and we have to make a decision on one thing and one thing only. Do we grant the extension for cause? And they're asking for extension from what would have been July 17th and 20th to July 31st, 2026. And you're sure that's long enough? I see their heads shaking, yes. And I think they outlined very well in their cover letter as to what happened and the problem they had securing the grant. And now that they've got the grant and their funding all lined up, in fact, they're out there bulldozing and leveling and proceeding to spend that money that they got for the grant. So do I hear a motion to extend the time frame to July 31st, 2026, because they've demonstrated quite well in their request letter as to why the cause is that is necessitating this extension.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor, roll call. Audrey?
Yes.
Yes.
Ryan, yes.
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 It's unanimous. You've got your extension. Thank you. All right, now let me get this paperwork all put away. And Chuck, this is yours, I believe?
That's fine.
Thank you.
If you want this, that's my notes on the
Oh,
site.
yes, thank you. All right, put that aside.
May I suggest, while everybody's going through their paperwork, I did get the email you asked us to read, and before we go back to the table discussion, everyone should read the email, so we're all on the same page.
The one that I've been trying to
Yes,
find?
yes,
Yeah.
it did come through.
Okay, so we'll stay in the recess?
Well, whatever, but everybody could read
Yeah.
it before we have that
Stay in
conversation.
the recess and
Are
let
you
me
going
try.
to go print it for us?
What's that?
You print it for us?
What?
Print it for us. Shouldn't we have a printed copy?
Could y'all want to read it on my phone? Or maybe-
Not really.
That, I can't do that.
I know, they can read my phone, that's what I said.
I don't think that's appropriate. I really
Okay.
don't.
I was just trying to,
You've got, because your questions are going to be answered. That's what I'm trying to get this to you,
okay.
you know? All right. I had it, now I got to find it again. All right, so here's one about the 90 days. So I'll try sending that out to
think, Audrey, you're just asking for this email that she's talking about to be printed, correct?
Yeah.
Not
You
not
don't-
just printed,
So we've got the email that's needed, but you can't print, right? You can't go up there.
I can't go down there.
Right. So I'm wondering what the objection is to reading the email the attorney sent on either my computer or my phone so that you are up to speed with what before we continue the conversation. We should all read what the attorney said.
That's what I'm
Be-
trying to.
because I don't think it's fair to this board to get information from our attorney in the middle of a meeting without the opportunity to ask a follow-up question to that information or any of the other questions we might have, and then use that for a basis.
It's not about it's only about the issue of continuance. That's it. It's
Well,
not about.
I have questions about the issue of continuance.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I agree.
I have follow-up questions to that I can't have answered.
Oh, I wish I was better with this. Try it again. Forward it to.
I don't think you need to forward it to anybody, Suzanne. They don't want to read it.
She doesn't have a way.
They don't want to read it.
She probably has it. She doesn't have a way of reading it right now.
I do have a way of reading it. I'm not going to read it because I think it's unfair.
Then you're going at it blind.
That's why I would like to postpone.
No, I'm not in
Because
favor
we
of
were-
postponing.
I understand you're
I
not.
want you to read the attorney's advice.
We were originally scheduled to meet with the attorney, and that got canceled as well, and that was today. Not with the week's
No,
leeway.
it wasn't scheduled for today. That never really transpired. You never
My
got
understanding
enough-
was it was scheduled for
It was the
today.
it was the site visits, then the attorney at
Yeah.
5, and then the meeting at 6. That's not a lot of time to digest whatever is going on.
It was scheduled for today.
It was scheduled for today. And you,
I think I sent out something that said he's on vacation and they're not going to be able to be, oh, yeah, you're correct. We were going to meet him at 5 o'clock.
Right.
Just before it started.
exactly.
Yeah. And then we got this business from their attorney that said they wanted to continue to August 7th. And I just read it to you. Their words, not my words.
the 7th is a Thursday.
Did I say August 4th? August 4th.
It's also
It's their
also
words.
the
I'm not
board's-
making it up.
It's also the board's decision whether to postpone or continue, not the attorney's. We could even say no.
Stop using the word postpone.
Reschedule.
Reschedule.
Continued.
No, I don't want to continue. Please stop changing my words.
Stop using the word postponed. It's not in the state statute that we can postpone. We can continue.
Reschedule. We only continue when we open it. We can reschedule this for another time and renotice it. And not only that, is this a rehearing? Is it a rehearing?
Okay, so the group doesn't
just
care.
yes or no.
Let me,
Is it
well,
a
I'm going to ask
rehearing?
a question, Audrey. Does the group want to see these emails from the attorney prior to the discussion or not?
I personally think whether you choose to ignore it or read it, I think it is important to read it. I think it could clarify things. I understand that it's frustrating that we got this at the last minute. I understand that I don't think it's necessarily right that we didn't have the meeting with the attorney, even though the case was going to be something. We did ask specifically to meet several weeks before the ZBA, this meeting, which means the holiday stuff is not in I don't buy that. 2 weeks before, that could have been the end of June. That could have been not the holiday week. However, we are where we are. And I do think it is not a wise decision to not take all of the information that's in front of us and at least decide that you do or do not agree with it. I think you should at least read what the attorney has written. We can decide then if we don't want to follow what he says. But then you were making a decision based on all of the information we have in front of us. That's
Right,
my
but
thought.
again, then I'll be having the argument that I have follow-up questions after I've read this, and now I still don't have the information I need.
I understand, but it may be that what he's put in this email I'm not sure, but it may be that the way he has phrased what happens next makes you feel better about how we move forward. I don't know that that's true. I don't know.
The reason we should reschedule the meeting is because we never did hear the variances the first time. We didn't hear them. We decided there was a decision about vesting and so forth, and so we said we did not need to hear it. So we didn't.
When I read
there
his-
wasn't a hearing. Excuse me. There wasn't a hearing on the variances that Outwell requested. And so now, and so we took a vote, and now the abutters have asked for, and we agreed to a rehearing. But Outwell also needs to present the case, which was never really presented. So that's why I think it makes sense to just reschedule the whole thing.
And I may be reading this email incorrectly, but he may not be saying something that different than what you guys were saying. I could be wrong, but it would make me feel better if you at least read it and we could save some, I could be wrong.
So I'm opposed to opening the hearing on the variance. So if it says anything that agrees with that, I have more questions before I would do that.
Okay, let me read it again.
Well, but we'd be opening it, continuing it, and having the meeting with our attorney before the
Suzanne.
continued date.
I don't want to open it because then we're opening a variance hearing, and I'm not sure that that's what I want to be hearing. That's why I don't want to open it. I want to wait, and I want to find out what page everybody is on, including the abutter's attorney,
Yeah.
as to
Okay.
what it is we're supposed
Okay,
to be
you're
noticing.
correct. He is suggesting we open up public.
Okay, so
that
just
is-
I get that.
on a side note, you keep saying that you wanted to meet with the attorney and you didn't get to meet with the attorney. It's because we were going to meet tonight at 5, and then he was going to come and sit with us through the meeting. But when he got word that the applicant was in agreement and wanted to continue, he just said there's no need to come.
I understand what he said.
And so we rescheduled to meet with him approximately a week before, whatever this
Right.
date is.
But if you open the hearing, we will already have put a stake in the ground as to what we're hearing, and I don't want to do that.
Right. Neither do I. It's going to
It
restrict us.
It could come out that that's what we hear, but there's a lot of information to go over first.
So Audrey, if we can't use the language postpone, what is the correct language you would like?
Let's renotice and reschedule this. We can do it for August 4th, assuming everybody has gotten the information they need.
Okay, then I think this is semantics, and I would agree with Audrey. I don't understand how I think it's kind of semantics at this point, and I don't know that it's that different. So I would agree
There's
with
a huge
Audrey.
difference between opening a meeting and accepting an application for a variance and continuing it, rather than waiting and making sure that it's noticed properly.
They submitted an application.
Suzanne, you don't need to explain it to me. I understand what they
Well, maybe
did.
not, but I'd like to have my say and then say it to the other board members. You don't have to listen, Audrey.
I'd like to hear Chuck's point of view. Come on, Chuck, what do you think?
I don't have enough legal background. I understand Audrey's point. There's a legal difference, I believe, between reopening an existing hearing versus what they call an administrative appeal. I don't know the technical difference.
Yeah, and I agree with
there
Chuck,
is-
and so I'd like to take the safest course. Like, what is the broadest course at letting us go back and look at all of this?
So if you don't know the difference, I think that's one reason why we need to talk to our attorney well in advance so that we can all have a learning session about this.
We already heard the administrative appeal. and we made a decision.
We didn't hear the
No, we just
administrative
agreed.
appeal.
Yes,
We never went through
Yes,
the material.
We did.
No, we didn't.
The abutters submitted,
We did not discuss it, Suzanne. All we did in our meeting was took a vote, period. You said we are not going to discuss this. We never have discussed anything that the abutters have turned in.
It's a big
yes, we
ever.
did.
No, we didn't.
Yes, we did.
No, we
We
voted
voted to rehear.
to
That's all we
approve a
did.
rehearing, and we set a date for the rehearing, yeah. No, we did not hear it. We got to.
No, we didn't hear it, but our task that night was to decide whether or not to
Rehear.
rehear.
And we
And
did vote.
decision
And we voted no.
to
No, we voted,
No, we voted yes
which
to
way did we
rehear.
we voted yes.
Yes.
And you
agree to the
specifically
abutters.
said, we are not going to discuss this now. We are going to simply vote. So we have not had a discussion where we've ever looked at what the abutters have turned in. We haven't.
I guess you
And
haven't.
that's where the
I guess you
confusion
haven't- I
comes.
guess you haven't, any of you sat on any of the cases when we've done this before. All as we do at one of those meetings is decide, do we rehear it or do we don't rehear it? That's all we do.
And that makes sense if you're going to
Because it-
deny it because you don't want to bring up any new information. But if you're going to approve it, there's no reason not to go through the packet. Because that's what helps you decide whether you're going to rehear it or not. I totally agree. If, you know, if the sentiment is the deny, then don't go through the packet, you know, but everybody should have already done that beforehand. But it's a very detailed, complicated packet with a lot of legal stuff in it that we need to go over with our attorney.
Yep.
What they were asking for is to have the variances reheard.
No, they were asking to have the decision we made that night, the decision,
Because we didn't hear the variance.
that's right, they were asking
We
to
didn't
have.
hear it, and they're asking us to hear it, and so.
Would you
we're-
please just read what they sent in? They're asking for a rehearing of the decision of April 7th. The decision was that they didn't need a variance.
No, the decision was not to hear it.
No, that was the rehearing. On the original case, we decided they didn't need a variance.
Right.
Right.
The rehearing request was to rehear that decision and the information around that decision.
Right.
Yes,
Yes.
that's exactly right.
That's what I always thought. And that's why it's confusing. So, yes.
And this is why I want to talk with the attorney, because they may have assumed that we went through all that information and made a decision based on the stuff we didn't talk about. And we didn't.
He gets all the records, the minutes, he has access to the video.
Okay, then he should know better. So
Make a motion.
I would, yes, please. I would make a motion that we re-notify this at a future date when everybody is prepared and agrees on what we're hearing.
Hold on to that motion, because we got a couple things on the table. One is, I took a recess, and the other thing is, I opened the hearing for the purposes of continuing. I did that literally.
No,
I have
you
it in my
didn't.
notes right here.
Well, first of all, you're supposed to vote on opening the hearing. You can't just open the hearing. The board opens the hearing.
No, the board doesn't open the hearing, the chairman opens the
Suzanne.
hearing.
You can't just decide to open the hearing yourself.
Oh, okay, so Chuck opens it. No, you don't take a vote to open the
I
hearing.
object to that.
Come on, Audrey, you know better than that.
You know better. I spoke first that I wanted to have an administrative discussion before we open the hearing.
And that's what got us in trouble last time. So I am going to withdraw my statement, so at least the record shows that I opened the hearing, and now I will withdraw that statement. I will also lift the recess, and we will continue on. Audrey, make your motion.
Thank you. I want to make a motion to schedule this hearing at a point in the future where everybody is prepared to bring their paperwork, and I would suggest that it be August 4th, so that we have time to decide on what to notice in the paper and send out abutter notices.
Second.
Call the vote.
Yes.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, number 2. This is a rehearing request, right?
Well, you have to identify it.
Are we here for a rehearing request?
Or you're going to identify what this hearing is so that the
I'm
administrative
asking
assistant
about
can
our
type it up?
I'm asking for our procedures here. We need to take another vote. So, reconsideration by the board on motions of rehearing. The board may reconsider its decision to grant or deny an application or grant or deny a motion for rehearing. I'm sorry, it's a different paragraph. Rehearing procedure. So
What are you reading from?
our rules of procedure. Rehearing procedure. I think we're having a rehearing. If the board grants a motion for a rehearing, which we did, the new public hearing shall be held within 30 days of the decision to grant the rehearing, provided all notice fees are paid and updated abutters lists are submitted by the party requesting the rehearing. Notification of the rehearing shall follow the processes set forth in RSA 677:3. So I would like to make a motion to waive the 30 days, because we can't make that time, because that's the next Monday, to waive the 30 days in this instance for good cause as allowed under the last section of our rules on page 10, waivers. Any portion of these rules of procedure may be waived with the affirmative vote of at least 3 members in such cases where, in the opinion of the board, strict conformity would pose a practical difficulty to the applicant and a waiver would not be contrary to the spirit and intent of the rules. So I propose that we waive the 30 days for a certain period. I would waive it for 30 days.
Second.
Yes.
All in favor?
Yes.
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 No.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we have to cover ourselves.
Right.
Yeah.
So now we're going to rehear this.
It's still a rehearing
It's a rehearing.
and this is what
Now,
we
does-
have to talk about with our attorney.
So you're
with
calling
them.
it a rehearing, and I'm calling it a hearing. So there's
That
the
is a problem.
difference.
So what happens next?
I'm calling it a hearing because we didn't have a hearing.
Does the abutter's attorney have to reapply somehow? We have to kick off something to re-notify and
We
and
need to
so
talk
forth.
to our attorney about what the process is and what it is we're supposed to be hearing.
I'm just going to send them the tape.
No, I would
No,
like
I
to talk to
suggest
him.
we meet with the attorney, hopefully within a week, because then that leaves enough time for the notifications, all the other things that have to happen.
Follow-up
If we do it too close to the date, then we might have boxed ourselves in with other things that need to happen. So I think this conversation with the attorney should take place hopefully within a week to 10 days.
As soon as he can, if possible.
I'm not going to go over it again. It was scheduled. It just didn't happen. I
know,
don't
I
have
know.
control over that.
Well,
It was scheduled for tonight, but when our attorney got word that their attorney
I understand. It's
wanted
okay.
a continuance, we canceled that meeting tonight.
It's okay.
Had I known in advance that we were going to have this issue, hearing, rehearing, I would have had him here.
Suzanne, that's okay. I mean,
No, it's really not okay.
anybody's fault here.
I'm not saying that. It's
and
not
because we
okay.
because we cannot talk outside of this room, it would have been impossible to know what other people's thoughts were. And that's just the way it goes. But now we're saying, rather than box ourselves in at the last minute, let's get the attorney in sooner, as soon as possible, to hear all of the questions.
And if we
that
get him
have.
too soon, it seems like we forget what he says by the time we get to the hearing. So it won't be too soon.
Well, how about 2 weeks?
2 weeks is too soon, Sabette.
You have to notify, based on, there are a lot of things on the table
2 weeks
here.
is August 4th.
2 weeks is ridiculous, so you'll end up with 45 more questions in between. Anyway, we'll work and see what we've got going. We aren't even going to have our attorney. He's going to assign somebody else.
2 weeks
All right,
is the date.
the motions, what?
2 weeks is August 4th.
That's too long.
2 weeks is August 4th.
No, 2 weeks is
Very
somewhere
close.
in July. 2 weeks is, our next ZBA date is
The
August
15th
4th.
is next week.
Yeah,
So
so
it's
2
3 weeks. That's
We'll
not
get
very
him
long.
a week before, we'll get him on Skype or whatever you call it, electronic.
So if we get him a week before, we still have to schedule the notices and everything. So I just think earlier is better. And
Well,
if
we maybe
have-
get that answer tomorrow, all right?
From what?
Tomorrow, the question will be sent to him, is it a hearing or a rehearing?
No,
That's
no,
all it
I
boils
would
down
like to
to. Do
meet
you
with him.
agree that's the question?
No.
A hearing or a rehearing?
no,
How
I-
complicated do you want to make it?
I wanna
You want to
say
write
it.
it up and send me the question and I'll send
No,
it to
I
him?
don't. I want to have a conversation with him.
Yep.
Suzanne, it's not an email to him asking. It's saying we want to have a conversation face-to-face or by Zoom where there's a back and forth conversation. And then that dictates, are we having a hearing, a rehearing? Who are you sending notices to? How are you noticing
But
this?
that
And
initial,
that's why
the
doing it.
initial question should be, are we preparing Janine to send up notices for rehearing or notices for hearing? That's a simple question. That's a simple question.
But there's
According to
background to that
Audrey,
question.
it's
That's
not.
a simple question. He's got all the documents. Are we having a hearing or a rehearing? I think it's semantics, but that's okay.
Well, apparently the abutters attorney does not believe it's semantics because
Well-
they're holding a pin in
Well,
in a
you know what?
in an
We'll
appeal
find
based
out,
on that.
because I already sent Shauna an email hoping that I'd get an answer back, but it didn't come back. So anyway, I'm going to make a motion to adjourn.
I would like to be assured that we're going to meet with him live.
You've said it enough times.
Okay, but you didn't say that.
I'll do the best that I can do, and
Thank
Shauna
you.
will do the best she can do.
4 weeks from today is August 4th, so we have 4 weeks
Good.
from today.
Yeah, July's long this year.
Right.
Yeah.
So 4 weeks.
Yep.
And we have to
And
notice.
we need at least a week to get the notifications to the paper, probably longer.
That will be, staff, Shauna will take care of. If he says it needs to be completely re-noticed, legal, formal notice in the newspaper and everything mailed out again, then staff will take care of that. If he says it can be a rehearing, I think we've kind of blown it tonight. I don't think we can even do a rehearing because we didn't open the hearing tonight. So I intend to try and get that answer first, and we'll go from there.
Okay.
I make a motion to adjourn.
I don't agree.
Can I get a
move-
second?
No.
Yes.
No,
Second?
Second.
All those in favor to adjourn?
no.
Yes.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
What do you want to do? Stay here all night?
I want to just have a day, I want to move that we, as a board, we are requesting that we meet with the attorney by July 24th. That is about 10 days prior because he's responding, we still don't know whether this is a hearing, a rehearing, whatever it is. I want to just make a motion that we have a formal request into the attorney to meet by July 24th. That's it.
Second.
Didn't we just vote to adjourn?
You voted, but,
Voted 3-2 to adjourn.
okay.
Right.
Okay, pack it up and go home.
Are we going to do minutes? Shouldn't
We
we?
motion to adjourn. I'm not going to do minutes.